Okay, we are going to go ahead and put together your full mandala from what you've been working on. So this is somebody's example from last year. You can see they have all of their layers here in the layers panel. First thing we're going to do before we even get started is you are going to go to File, Open, and in the Public folder, Modify, remember press R here, Mandalas, you're going to like this, Full Mandala Template, open that. Do not save on top of the template like a couple people have done with what we've been working on. When you open in Photoshop, File, Save As to your folder right away. Do that first so you don't save on the template because I am not here to make a new one for you. So please don't mess it up for the other people. Open this up and then open this. So you can see it says Full Mandala Template. Very first thing you're doing, once again, File, Save As, and you're putting this in your photo class folder. So your student ID, photo class, maybe you have a mandala folder, and you need to rename it. Put your name in here somewhere so that we know this is your mandala template, because right here the file name will change when you have done this. So that's how we check ourselves. Hit save. Shoot, I've already done this. There we go. You want to see this every time you save as a PSD, you hit OK, and now this has changed file names. So you want to make sure you see your name here so you know, again, that you're not saving on top of this full mandala template. Okay, by the way, I am following along with the written out steps. If you're more of a reading type learner, you're welcome to try to follow along with the written steps that you see here, but I would suggest going with this video link, which you have obviously already found. Okay, so step 2, you should have your, not that one, this one, your mandala slice you've been working on that has all of your layers. So what we are going to do is merge everything, make it flat. We want to do everything from the ellipse to all your pieces. I am not selecting this background layer. That's super important. So scroll to the bottom. If your ellipse layer is still locked, you can do one of two things. You can click this to unlock it, or you can drag the lock to the trash here. That's what it says on the written steps, if you're wondering. So we click this one. We scroll up to the top. Hold Shift. Again, this one's blue. So I'm holding Shift, clicking on the top one. Now they all go blue. That is what we want. We will right click in the blue area and say Merge Layers. Once you've done that, now you have just the one slice and you have the background layer. If you accidentally merged all that together, undo and make sure you do not select the background. Okay, the next step is kind of new. Half of it is a repeat, half of it is a new way of doing this. So we're going to right click our slice, that's what I'll be calling this, in the blue area and say duplicate layer. Instead of just pressing OK to get another one here, click this drop down and you're going to click on whatever you just named your full mandala template. So click that, press OK. So instead of duplicating it here, it sends it right over to this section. If you're like this person and for some reason your piece is very, very close in color to what this is, you might want to go ahead and change the color of this ellipse, the circle. I just picked like a darker blue. I'm getting the paint bucket, clicking on it, just so I can really see what I'm doing, and I'll go back to my slice layer. Okay, so a lot of you, whether on purpose or just on accident, will have stuff hanging off the edges. That's totally fine. I want to show you how to get rid of that. So we're using a new tool, but it is one that you have in your notes on your Photoshop Tools sheet. It is right here It is called the rectangular marquee tool, and it's one of your selection tools. So you're going to click on it. Sorry, I got an email. And I don't want you selecting anywhere in here because we're going to make a box to select this part. I want you to be sure that you get every single dot of this white corner. So instead of clicking here, click outside in this gray and drag. So you see how it perfectly got the corner. Drag down. If you go slow, Photoshop should pop you to those blue lines. And now you've got your square selected. So we made this square selection. We actually want to inverse our selection and select this area to clear off our little scraps. So we're going to do Control-Shift-I. So Control-Shift-I. Now my marching ants bounced over here, and making sure I'm on my slice layer, whatever it's called, I'm going to press backspace. Now I got rid of those scraps. You're going to do Control-D. Some of you might have something hanging off on this part as well. In order to get rid of that, my friend right here, their piece is a little bit big for some reason, so I'm just doing Control-T, holding Shift, and making this slice match up with the blue background. I'm going to press Enter. Remember, I let go of the clicker before I let go of Shift, then press Enter. If I messed up, I would just do Undo. Pressing Enter. If for some who knows why reason yours happened to not be matching up with the circle, you can go ahead and do that right then as well. If that didn't happen to you and your piece fits right in, great. Right now, suppose this person had something hanging off the edge on this part, like the actual circle. You can click on your ellipse layer, get your magic wand, click on the blue circle, go back to your mandala slice, do Control-Shift-I. Now it's selected right here, and you can do backspace, and it will clean up that edge for you as well. So Control-D gets rid of my selection. Okay, back to my move tool as always. Pretty much simple now, you can probably guess. We're going to duplicate this and bring it around to these 3 spots, but I want you guys to make sure it is perfect, it is exact, you don't have any spacing or gaps. So we want to right click this layer, duplicate layer, doesn't matter what you call it, press OK. It pasted right on top of itself. So we're going to do Control-T. We're going to turn this, but this time I want you to hold Shift. Normally you don't have to hold Shift to turn. So I'm holding Shift. As I'm turning, I'm watching this black pop-up number right here, and I want 90 degrees. I let go of the mouse first, then the Shift. Press Enter. I still see some of you moving stuff around with this up with Control-T. We don't need that. Press Enter. And I'm going to just slide it right along. It should pop into place. There we go. Okay, again, right click, duplicate layer, press OK, Control-T, turning while holding Shift, so I get this number, 90 degrees, let go of the mouse, let go of the Shift, press Enter, bring it down into place. Try to get it as close as you can. Don't worry if it's not popping. I'll show you how to fix that in a second. Right click, duplicate layer, OK, Control-T, turn while holding Shift, let go of the mouse, get to 90 degrees, let go of the Shift, press Enter, move it over. Mine slid right along until the last second. So I'm trying to get it lined up as best I can. That's why I changed the background of this so I could see better. Last step. We don't want any weird gapping, weird spacing. We want a perfect solid mandala. So I'm zooming in. I'm using Control+ this time. I'm scrolling down. I'm seeing some weird spacing right here. I'm gonna go to this layer so I can right click it. I know that it's this one. Click that. Now that's my active layer. Use the arrow key one time to scooch it up, also known as nudge. This one right here needs to move. Right click. This one, right arrow key, scoot it over. Okay, something's going on up here as well. So I have these lines right here for you. These are called guides. With the move tool, you can click on the guide. See how my cursor changes? Pull it off over to the side. Move that one. And we can see that I need to scooch these a tiny bit closer to each other. My friend that made this has a couple weird little areas there, but for the most part, everything's lined up. I'm checking the edges. I can hold spacebar to get the hand tool, pull this thing around, zoom back out. Looks great. You can just drag these guides off or leave them on top. It doesn't matter. They save invisible. I think they still have... This one needs to move. So right click, arrow key one time. I'm not too concerned about this because I'm going to hide that, but everything is lined up in the middle, which is important. So I'm going to go ahead and save. Zoom back out so I can see the whole thing. Turn the eyeball off on this ellipse layer just in case we don't want any of that shining through. And I'm going to save a little bit differently this time than we have so far. So I want you to go File, Save As. You're in your photo class folder. In your, maybe you have a mandala folder, if not, whatever, photo class folder. I want you to rename this. So last name, first name, spell your name right. Just call it Final Mandala. And we're not saving as a PSD this time. We're saving as our final image file, which is a JPEG. None of these. First one. If yours doesn't change your extension here, so that's the ending of it, dot whatever, go ahead and type in dot .jpg. So remember, you must have this and you must have this. Press save. This will come up. Mine defaulted, but yours probably will be on 8. You always, always, always want to slide this slider up to 12 and press OK. You can check yourself. You can go to, sorry, I got a lot of files. You can go to your, nope, that's not where mine is. Hold on. Okay, figured it out. You can go to your student ID. I have a lot of stuff, a lot of photo class folders. Your photo class folder, your mandala folder maybe, and then you'll see this is probably looking like this. So I know that I just saved this one because it is 12:45. I can right click and say open with, because yours will probably want to open with Microsoft Paint, and click on photos. That's the photo viewer. And you should be able to see your final mandala. So there you go. There's your final image, your JPEG. Now I want you to go ahead and upload this to your Weebly, your website. You should have a portfolio page. So this will be the first thing in your portfolio. You need to drag, it's on the left side, you need to drag over a gallery little square. And then once you've dragged that over, you can click to add this image. If you're not sure how to do that, ask your neighbor. Someone around you probably remembers how to build on Weebly. I want to show you 2 more things that might happen to you, just in case. So maybe you are like this person. This one's not good because they obviously didn't use their 10 pieces. This is just a random example. But what I'm saying is how they have these pieces just kind of hanging off the edges. This is a what not to do. So if they merged these layers, duplicate, and sent over to the full mandala template, they've got this weird stuff hanging off here. So I'm going to show you what it's going to look like when they put the whole mandala together. So the marquee step, rectangular marquee, Control-Shift-I, backspace, Control-D, move tool, right-click, duplicate layer. When they start putting it together, and I would change the background for this, but you're going to get the point. It's going to look bad because you've got these partial chopped off pieces going next to each other, like these half weird butterflies. So if you have stuff hanging off, go ahead and fix that before you put the mandala together. Another thing that I want to give you as a tip, I don't have another tip. Just wanted to say there's also an Edmodo assignment for you when you finish this. Please attach your final JPEG. Make sure it's the JPEG, not the PSD, to your Edmodo. Complete the writing, and you should be good to go. Hopefully it went well. Good luck.